afternoon. It is May 1st, 2024, and welcome to Spay Neuter Network Live. I am Dr. Mark Stickney. Excuse me. I am Dr. Mark Stickney, broadcasting to you from our Spay Neuter Network studios here in San Antonio, Texas. Today, we're going to talk about some things that are going on with Spay Neuter Network out in the community. We are going to answer some of your questions, and then we will talk about any other topics that we have to discuss in the 30 minutes that we have for us today. So, please put in your comments, and I will address those as they come along. Any questions that y'all have. May is Chip Your Pet Month. So what that means is that this is a month to recognize giving your pet a microchip. A microchip is a small, about that big little glass transmitter that we put between the shoulder blades of the pet, and it has a number that can be read by a scanner. And that number permanently identifies your pet and connects it to your information that you provide to the company that monitors it. So this means that if your pet gets lost, gets loose, somebody else finds your pet, somebody takes it to an animal shelter or to a veterinarian, they will scan that pet, and when that number comes up, they can contact the microchip company with that number, and they will know how to get in touch with you that your pet has been found. The person that finds your pet will not be the one that's calling you. You don't have to worry about your personal information or anything like that. About 10 million pets, dogs and cats, are lost in the United States every year. And that means that they're out there wandering around, scared, don't know where they are, at risk of getting hit by cars, running into wildlife, getting caught in the elements if they're not used to it. So a microchip is your best chance of having your pet returned to you. Pets are 20 times more likely to be returned to their owners if they have a microchip versus if they don't. So very important to microchip your pets, and that's a service we provide at Spay Neuter Network. It's very simple. It's just one little needle stick between the shoulder blades. Most pets don't even notice it. Some do, but it's just a quick little pinch, and those animals are then able to have a much better chance of being found if they get lost. If you're in San Antonio, Fiesta is still going on, and we have our Fiesta medals that are still available. We only have a few left. They're still available for a $10 donation, and here is the medal. And this is the inaugural year of these. So if you want to jump on having these for each year of Fiesta going forward, always adding to your collection of Spay Neuter Network medals. This is your chance to get the very first one. It has our symbol on it. It has a dog and a cat, and it says Spay Neuter Network Fiesta 24. So we only have a few of these left. They are available at our clinic in San Antonio for a $10 donation. They are almost gone. So if you want one, now is the chance to come and get one. If you are in Dallas or near Dallas tomorrow, May 2nd, Paws and Pints is going on at White Rock Brewing Company. This is an event where you go in, you have a drink, and you can meet our executive director and other members of our team here at Spay Neuter Network. Ask them any questions you have, learn more about what it is we do and how we do it. And that is going to be tomorrow at White Rock Brewing Company in Dallas from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Also, up in near that Metroplex area in Grand Prairie on Saturday, May 11, is the Lone Star Bark event. Lone Star Bark is an event that's held at Lone Star Park, and Spay Neuter Network has teamed up with Lone Star Park this year for a bigger and better Lone Star Bark than's ever been seen before, presented by Good Charlie Energy. Go, bring your dogs, bring your pups, There are thousands, literally thousands of dog treats and toys that your pet will be able to find in the bone hunt. Your pet can run on the track for fun and for some money while it lasts. There will be games for your dog to play, including doggy limbo, bobbing for tennis balls, musical mutts, tic tac toe, and the rubber ducky challenge. So, lots of things to keep the dogs busy. And for you to stay busy as well, there will be live music, food trucks, drinks. You can get your picture taken with your pet. There'll be a silent auction of some possum items and even more stuff. All of the proceeds from Lone Star Bark go to help Texas Pets. So everything that you do there is going to be for the pets. In addition to all of those fun events for the dogs and for the owners, there will also be a free FVRC and parvo distemper vaccine clinic at the event. So if your pets need their shots, if it's time, what better time than to go get those shots at the Lone Star Bark event at Lone Star Park? And that way, even if your pet gets a little shot, they'll have a reason to still celebrate when they go play bobbing for tennis balls and all of the other activities that are there. Spay Neuter Network needs volunteers for this event. It's coming up on May 11. That's only 10 days away. So if you would like to volunteer, please post a comment here in the comment box as we're doing Spay Neuter live, and we will reach out to you and get your information and talk about what needs to happen. So, lots of things going on. All of the things that I have just discussed can be found at our website at spayneuternet.org. You can find more information about microchipping your pet. We will have more information about Lone Star Bark there and reminders of the Paws and Pints and any other events that we have coming up. Let's see. We don't have any questions yet in the queue box. So let's talk about the importance of. Oh, here one pops in right now. All right. So, at what age can I put the chip on my dog? She is 4 months old and can already have it. Yes. So we at Spay Neuter Network, we will we can put it in when they show up for their very first vaccine as puppies or kittens at 6 weeks of age. Anytime is the right time to give them a microchip. We can do that when they come in to get spayed and neutered. We can do it when they come in for their vaccines, or we can do it just if they only need a microchip. Just bring them on in, and we can do that for you. And it takes just a few seconds, and they are set. While we are waiting for more questions to come in, let's talk about the dreaded fleas and ticks that are all starting to come out now that the weather is getting nice. So it never got very cold, certainly not in San Antonio. It never got very cold this year during the winter time. And that cold weather gives us a little bit of help in killing some of the fleas and some of the ticks. It never got very cold, so there are lots of fleas and ticks that are held over from last year and all of the new ones that are hatching out of their eggs right now. Fleas and ticks can spread so many different diseases in addition to just being gross and irritating to you if you get fleas or ticks on you along with your pet. So some of the things that fleas can do, if we have new puppies and kitties and we have a really bad flea infestation, we can end up with a condition called flea bite anemia, where so many fleas bite our pets that they actually lose enough blood to become sick and in some cases die just from so many flea bites. So that's really sad, and not it's just not good, and it's really there's no need for it. Fleas also spread tapeworms, And tapeworms are acquired by the dog or the cat when one of those fleas bites them, and they whip their head around and they bite at that flea and they swallow that flea. And when they swallow the flea, the little tapeworm eggs are inside the flea, and those eggs hatch. And now we have tapeworms. And you know your pet has tapeworms because when they go to the bathroom, when they go poop, you're going to see these little white segments moving around, and you're going to see little things like grains of rice that are coming literally out of their behind. And this is also something where if you, for whatever reason, were to swallow a tick, or I'm sorry, were to swallow a flea, you could get tapeworms too. So that is something else. Fleas spread the plague and typhus. They spread a bacteria to cats that causes cat scratch disease, which can affect people if they get scratched by a cat. And if you have a dog that is a dog or a cat that is allergic to fleas and their saliva, they cause a condition called flea allergy dermatitis, where instead of just a little bit of itching from a flea bite, they go crazy scratching themselves. So much so that you'll lose sleep at night because they're scratching and itching so much. So fleas are something that we definitely do not want to have. Luckily, we have lots of great products that we can use to help prevent fleas and ticks from being a problem. Before we move on to those, let's talk a little bit about ticks. And the big thing that we think about with ticks is Lyme disease. So this is spread by ticks that bite our pets, and when they are on our pets for several hours, they will spread a bacteria that lives inside of the tick into our dog's bloodstream. That's called Borrelia burgdorferi. That's a lot. That's a big mouthful. And this is a bacteria then that can make your dog sick. It causes signs like fever, loss of appetite. They don't want to eat. They can get really painful, swollen joints and not want to move. Along with that, they'll be lame, sometimes on one leg, sometimes on four legs, sometimes on one leg one day and a different leg the other day. And they're just lethargic. They just don't feel like doing anything. If Lyme disease goes untreated in our dogs, it can cause heart disease and kidney disease, and also affect their central nervous system as well. So, Lyme disease is also something that people can get if the if the tick attaches onto you and is able to get a blood meal from you for several hours. You could also get Lyme disease. Another disease that both dogs and people can get from ticks is Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And in people, this is you think of this with you get little like almost like a rash. You get these very distinctive spots on your body. With your dogs, because they're covered in fur, you may or may not notice something like that. But you will have similar signs as you do with Lyme disease, where they again have the fever, they don't want to do anything. You can just tell that they are not themselves. Another tick-borne disease that is spread is called ehrlichiosis, and this affects dogs. And this organism gets into their bloodstream, and it can cause them to have very similar signs to Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and can also cause them to have can affect their platelets, and they can have very low platelet function. The platelets are the little cells in your bloodstream that whenever you get a small minor cut, they are the ones that those are the little cells that seal that off and stop you from bleeding. So you may see in your dogs that have this, they'll have little pinpoint spots on them, red spots, where they are doing a little bit of bleeding out of some of their smaller blood vessels. So ticks and fleas spread lots of diseases. They are irritating if they bite you. And this is one of these things, I've said this before, this is one of these things where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So as soon as we can get these things under control, the better off we are. There are a few different products that are available, and we have some of them at Spay Neuter Network where you will be able to acquire these. The first is called Celerid, and this is for cats. Find my camera there. There we go. Celerid for cats and Celerid for dogs. And this is a monthly topical flea and tick preventative that also protects cats and dogs from heartworm disease. And you apply this to the skin right between their shoulder blades, right at the base of their neck, once a month, and it will prevent them from getting heartworm disease, and it will kill any fleas or ticks that they come into contact with, so that we do not have to be concerned about our pet having them, and we don't have to be concerned about an infestation in our yard or anywhere else, because we are doing things to prevent those and kill those little parasites. Selamectin is the active ingredient in Celerid, and it is applied once a month between the shoulder blades. Most pets tolerate it just great. Every now and then, a cat may lose a little bit of hair right at the spot where it was administered. And in that case, then there are other products that we can use, which we'll go into here in a moment. I have a question that's popped up here. It says, what's the likelihood for puppies that are nursing on their dam and those that are not to contract any canine disease? What if other dogs in the household with the puppies were to go to a dog park on a regular basis? Okay, so the good thing with nursing puppies is that there's something called the blood milk barrier, and that is the way that the blood vessels are set up. There, it is very difficult for bacteria to travel between the bloodstream and into the milk that the puppies will be drinking. Also, the puppies, when they are initially nursing, that first milk that they get is called colostrum, and that is full of antibodies from the mama dog, and is the reason that it jump starts their immune system, so that they don't that they have some immunity against diseases. So the likelihood of the puppies catching anything, as long as they are not exposed to other dogs and the mother dog was current on vaccinations and dewormed, is low. GI parasites, specifically hookworms and roundworms, can pass to the puppies either through the placenta or through the mammary glands through the milk. So we always assume when we see new puppies and kittens for their first round of shots that they have those parasites, and we go ahead and treat them for those as a matter of course, because the odds are they do have them. Those parasites are very, very common. The second part of the question, what if other dogs in the household with the puppies were to go to a dog park on a regular basis? Yeah, there's the catch, right? Because now we've got dogs that are going out to the place where all of the other dogs are, where all of the dogs are in contact with each other, drinking from the same water source, running on the same obstacles, spreading whatever germs they have, and they are also, if any of them have any kind of parasites, fleas or ticks, that some of those are going to drop off into or jump off into the dog park. And then if they have GI parasites like hookworms or roundworms, those little eggs, if they poop there at the dog park, those little eggs are going to get in the soil, and they can actually be picked up through the skin as the dog walks over them. So I would be concerned if I had other dogs going to the dog park and then coming home around the other pets, that they could bring home pretty much anything for the puppies. The biggest one that we would be concerned with right now is parvovirus. Parvo disease is a very serious and often fatal disease that puppies can get, especially ones that have not been fully vaccinated. And it causes severe diarrhea, vomiting, dehydration, electrolyte abnormalities, and anemia, prevents their white blood cells from being produced and being able to fight off anything. So those puppies get very sick very quickly. They most of the time they do require some kind of treatment, sometimes hospitalization. It can be a very expensive and difficult disease to treat, and these puppies with or without treatment can still die. So that would be the one I would be really concerned about. If I had other dogs going to the dog park, I would keep them separate from the mother dog and the puppies until those puppies are vaccinated. Great question. It's a lot like, I kind of think of it as a lot like you go out to a like the amusement park, like to Six Flags or something like that, and there's people everywhere, right? And they're all riding the same rides and touching the same things, and it's just easy to pick up something and bring it home. It's the same kind of thing. Wherever you have a large density, population density of a certain type of animal, that is where you have an increased risk of disease transmission. Great question. Let's say that your cat doesn't like getting the Celerid put on them between their shoulder blades, or your dog doesn't, or you just don't like it because you just don't like doing it. You don't like the way it looks, you don't like the way it feels, whatever. We have a couple of other options, and these are products that are called Bravecto. Now we got Bravecto for cats and Bravecto for dogs. Now for the dogs, this is a chewable. Give it to them like a treat, and you only have to give it to them once every 3 months, and it will kill the fleas and the ticks and keep them from getting those and keep them from getting established in your household or in your yard. If you are a cat, this is again going to be one of those little tubes, but so this is going to be the liquid that you apply between their shoulder blades. But the beauty here is that you only have to do it every 3 months. So that's only 4 times a year that you have to do that, and it will kill fleas and ticks for up to 3 months as well. They're both very well tolerated. All of these products are very well tolerated by our pets. They are very effective, and all of our pets should be on flea and tick control, especially this time of year. I recommend doing it all year long because we live in Texas and fleas and ticks are pretty much alive and well almost all year long. And but they are fantastic products, and we can keep those parasites off our pets. We can keep ourselves as pet owners from being exposed to those parasites, and we can help prevent a lot of diseases that can make our dog really sick or our cat sick, and keep us from having to get those diseases treated, and having nice healthy pets that are happy all the time, by doing something once a month to take care of them. So fleas and ticks, really bad this time of year. Lots of diseases they spread, lots of irritation and diseases that can spread from them to people. Even if you think that your pet doesn't have fleas, because I hear that sometimes, your neighbor's dog does. And the fleas don't care if there's a fence between your yards. The fleas are going to jump through the fence, over the fence, across the fence, and get into your yard. And there you go. So now you do have fleas because your neighbor had fleas. Or you go to the dog park. You need to be on prevention there, because I can pretty well guarantee that not every dog in that dog park is on flea and tick prevention. Is it difficult for a dog to get heartworm? So it is not. There are some estimates that say dogs in Texas that are not on heartworm preventative, 80% of them have heartworm disease. So it is very easy because it is spread by mosquitoes. And I'm scratching a mosquito bite on my elbow here that I got just this weekend, and I had no idea there was even a mosquito around. And it got me. So mosquitoes are everywhere. If my cat or dog doesn't go outside, mosquitoes come inside. So we want to have our pets on heartworm prevention year round. Again, it never gets cold enough in Texas, certainly in most of Texas, to kill all of the mosquitoes. So mosquitoes are a year round problem to a large degree, and our pets should always be on heartworm preventative. My friend's dog is throwing up blood and has dark stools. What could that be? That is going to be something they want to get checked out by the veterinarian, because throwing up blood indicates that there's some kind of irritation and ulceration in the stomach. And dark stools means that we have bleeding into our intestinal tract that the body is trying to digest. And that's what makes that stool look dark. That's the digested blood. So they need to get checked out. There's something causing that bleeding. And the sooner you get a handle on what it is, like most everything, the better. While we are wrapping up here, let me just reiterate that this month is Microchip Awareness Month. Have your pet microchipped. All of my pets are microchipped. Last fall in our neighborhood, there was this great looking Belgian Malinois just running around up and down the street trying to get himself hit by a car and trying to fight with other dogs that were getting walked by their owners. So we picked him up and we took him up here to the clinic, scanned him. He had a microchip. We contacted the company. They called him and gave him our information. We had the dog back to him within an hour, and he had no idea the dog had gotten out of his yard. So, who knew how long the dog had already been out, but he was totally unaware that that had happened. It was in the getting to be evening time. He may never have seen that dog again, or sadly, he might have seen that dog dead on the side of the road if it got hit by a car. So he was very, very lucky and very, very happy that his pet had a microchip. We have Lone Star Bark coming up on May 11. And that is going to be just a great event presented by Good Charlie Energy at Lone Star Park. Spay Neuter Network has teamed up with Lone Star Bark, and with Lone Star Park, there's going to be so much stuff going on there. Toy hunts for the dogs, bobbing for tennis balls, tic-tac-toe, the rubber ducky challenge, live music, food, and the free FVRCP and Parvo distemper vaccine clinic. Again, we need volunteers for that. Absolutely, please comment in these sections now or in the near future. We'll check those and reach out to you if you would like to volunteer. It's a great thing for the community. It's going to be a lot of fun. All of the money, all of the proceeds go toward helping Texas pets. So that is just a worthy thing to do. Tomorrow is Paws and Pints at White Rock Brewing Company in Dallas. It makes me wish that I was closer to Dallas so that I could go to the White Rock Brewing Company and have some beers and have a good time talking with our director and other staff members from Spay Neuter Network. All of the information and everything that's upcoming is always on our website at spayneuternet.org. So be sure to check that out. I've got a couple of minutes left. My Frenchie has a foggy eye. She can definitely see out of it. Do I know what it is? It could be a lot of things. It could be a corneal scratch where the Frenchie bumped his eye against something and got a little scratch on it, and now it looks like that. It could, however, be inflammation inside the eye, and that can lead to some serious problems. I would get that checked out at a full service veterinary office. My dog has ear infections very often, and how can I treat his ears with medication that I can buy over the counter? So what you're going to want to do very first thing is get an ear cleanser, which you'll be able to find at the pet store. And that's going to be the first thing you do, is start by cleaning those ears once a week, and certainly every time. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. We're back. And certainly every time after they go swimming or get in the water. But dogs with frequent ear infections often have some allergies going on along with it. People have itchy eyes and itchy noses. Dogs get itchy ears and itchy paws if they have allergies. And your veterinarian has all kinds of great ways that we have available to us now to get those under control. What causes eye boogers in dogs? This will be our final question. My dachshund also gets them, and it's the same thing with like why we get them. The eye is always exposed to things in the air, dust and bacteria and little irritants all the time. And when we sleep and close our eyes, our eyes are trying to clear all that out, and that ends up being collected in the corner of our eye as that goop that is it's the eye boogers, and that's what it is. It's the eyeball keeping itself clean. It was great to talk with everybody today. I really enjoyed the questions. I hope everybody learned a little bit of something, and we will be back in a month. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.